Hey, it's Sean.
Hey, it's Chris. Here in this Cottonwood Creek area where you have to get the new walkie-talkie that Delilah has planted for you or had planted for you, it is possible to just never pick it up in the first place, go straight over to the research site. And that's in part because it's in a game like this where we aren't constraining your movement. There isn't really anything we can do to force the player to walk to a certain place and do a certain thing before going to a different place. We would have to put up some kind of infinite wall or something between you and the research site to stop you just going straight there. And we didn't really want to do that. We thought about it, and we really could not think of a good reason to do so.
Which
But-
then meant that the entire research site scene had to be written, had to be bifurcated, and then written to support the new radio versus not having the new radio. And that was really hard. And then had to be logically programmed to support both those things. And the way a lot of the branching sort of dialogue stuff works in a game like this, it's not like a choose your own adventure where you go to a different chapter. It's really, the game is looking line by line through the hundreds of lines that it takes for the characters to communicate their stuff while in the research site. It's going line by line and playing the truest one. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the lines are shared across has new radio versus doesn't have new radio state. It's jumping in between ideas that both hit upon and changing Delilah's response most of the time. And playing through that and finding those spots and writing with that level of detail and branching is really hard. And we would probably find a new way to do it in the future.
Maybe, yeah. No, it's hard to say. We tried hard to think of a way around it, and we really couldn't. And it affected everything. It affected writing. Here's a weird one. It affected music, because if you go all the way to the research site without getting the new radio, typically when you have the new radio and you go into the research site, there's this music that kicks in. What if you go to the research site without getting the new radio, not because you were intending to skip that part of the game, but because you just wanted to go check it out, to doing the video game exhaustive thing of I'm going to check every place before I do the thing, but I'm going to go back and get the radio and then do it. How do we read your intent? How do we as the designers know I'm intending to skip that part of the game, I'm not intending? Do I start the music cue? Do I not? There were a lot of different areas where we had to just take our best guess basically about, well, if this and this and this, but not that, we think this is what the player means to do, and we're going to support that. And that was just something that we constantly had to live with throughout development.